Do you think old age creeps up slowly, giving you time to adjust to the changes? That's a lie. It comes suddenly, without warning. One day, you wake up, and suddenly, your body no longer obeys you. Knees that never gave you trouble now ache with every step. Your hands tremble as you try to button your shirt. Your vision blurs. Yesterday, you easily remembered where you left your glasses, but today, you feel lost in your own home. You are no longer the person you once were. But what if I told you that this process can be slowed down? That you can maintain mental clarity, energy, and the ability to enjoy life even after 70? But first, the bad news. If you do nothing, aging won't just continue. It will accelerate. Your muscles will weaken so much that one day, getting out of bed will feel like an impossible task. Your blood vessels will clog. Your blood pressure will rise. Your heart will ache. And doctors will simply shrug. It's just age. What can we do? Your bones will become brittle, and one wrong move at night could result in a hip fracture, a one-way ticket to a wheelchair, and then helplessness, dependence on others. You will become a burden to your loved ones. Your children will visit less and less because taking care of someone who is completely dependent is exhausting. Your family will say, "We love you," but their eyes will show nothing but fatigue. You will be left alone with your weakness, with memories of who you used to be. Are you ready for that? If not, listen carefully. Today, I'll share with you 6 proven ways to truly slow down aging. No fairy tales, no miracle pills, no empty promises. Just real science, real practice, and real people who have managed to preserve their youth. This isn't magic, it's a conscious choice, and that choice is yours. Let's begin. Do you think elderly people die from illnesses? No. They die from inactivity, from the fact that they stop moving. Their body gives up not because of age, not because of genetics, not because of fate. It gives up because they themselves have refused to maintain it. How does this happen? It's never sudden. You won't even notice when it begins. At first, it's just a little harder to get up from a chair. You push off with your hands, stand up a little slower, but don't pay much attention to it. That's normal, right? Then, your legs start trembling when you walk. You blame it on fatigue, the weather, or your blood pressure. But in reality, your muscles are losing strength because you're not giving them enough load. And then, a hip fracture. One night, you get up to go to the bathroom. It's dark. You take a step and fall. Sharp pain, fear that no one will hear you. Someone lifts you up, takes you to the hospital. And now, you're lying in bed, immobilized. The doctors say it's dangerous, that at your age, such injuries are often fatal. Now you're bound to your bed. After a month, muscle atrophy begins. Your legs weaken even more. You can no longer even sit up without assistance. 6 months later, you don't get up at all. Here it is, the deadly trap. You think the worst thing is illness? No. The worst thing is helplessness. Your muscles are your life. If they work, you live. If they don't, you become a shadow of yourself. How much time do you have left? That depends on what you do right now. What should you do? There is a way out, but it requires action from you. If you think it's too late, you're signing your own sentence. At least 5,000 steps a day, every day. No exceptions. Not in the mood? Doesn't matter. Your lower back hurts? Move. The less you move, the worse tomorrow will be. Light exercise in the morning and evening, even if it's just a few minutes. Even if you don't feel like it. Because if you don't do it today, tomorrow may be too late. Strength training. Take a bottle of water, lift it 10 times. Do 5 squats. Seems insignificant? But these little things determine whether you'll be able to walk in 5 years. Every step you take today adds years to your life. But even if you stay active, there's something even more dangerous than lack of movement. Something that can kill you even faster. Have you ever noticed how elderly people start getting lost in conversations? How they stumble, struggling to remember simple words? How their speech slows down and their gaze becomes empty, devoid of meaning? At first, they don't even realize that something is wrong. It starts with small lapses. Where did I put my keys? Or, what was that actor's name? Then it turns into, what was I going to say? And eventually, who are these people around me? This is brain deterioration. You might think you're fine, that your memory is still strong, but the process has already begun. Every day you don't challenge your brain, it weakens. Every week, it loses neural connections. Every month, cells die if you don't force them to work. And at some point, click. You forget why you walked into a room. You struggle to find a word. You look at someone you've known your whole life and can't remember their name. Do you really want to end up like this? Do you want to be spoon-fed? To be cared for like a helpless child? To see your loved ones looking at you with tears in their eyes, saying, "He doesn't understand anything anymore." This is reality. This happens to those who neglect their brain. But there is a way out. What should you do? Your brain either works or it deteriorates. There is no third option. If you don't want to turn into a shadow of yourself, you need to make it think. Read every day. Not mindless news, but books, complex articles, scientific journals. Your brain must analyze information, not just passively absorb it. Learn something new. Are you 70, 80, 90? It doesn't matter. Learn new words, master modern technologies, try to memorize poetry. Every new skill is protection for your brain. Solve puzzles. Chess, Sudoku, crosswords, logic problems. These aren't just games. They're your chance to stay mentally sharp for years to come. Remember, old age isn't about age. It's about refusing to learn. You can keep your mind sharp, but it's your choice. Either you start training your brain right now, or you accept that one day you'll wake up and not remember who you are. What do you think destroys you the fastest? Age? Genetics? Time? No. What's killing you is what you put on your plate every day. Sugar, fried food, processed meats. You might think, it's just food. Or, I ate this in my youth and I'm still here. But old age doesn't forgive mistakes. Look at elderly people who never cared about their diet. Their skin is dull and gray because their blood vessels are clogged. Their joints ache constantly because their body is inflamed from unhealthy foods. They have swelling, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, because for decades they slowly destroyed themselves. Do you want to look 80 when you're only 70? Then keep eating whatever you want. Wash down your morning sandwich with sugary tea, follow up lunch with a pastry, cook with cheap oil, and buy processed meats that barely contain real meat. And don't be surprised when your doctor soon tells you, "Well, what did you expect? It's just age." No, it's not age. It's your diet. What should you do? You can rewind the years. You can change your future. But only if you start right now. Replace sugar with fruit and honey. Craving something sweet? Eat what nature gave you, not artificial chemicals. Less salt, more greens. Salt retains water, raises blood pressure, and damages your kidneys. Greens cleanse, provide vitamins, and nourish your brain. The choice is obvious. Protein plus fiber. Your bones aren't made of steel. Without calcium, they'll crumble. Without protein, your muscles will weaken. Eat fish, chicken, vegetables, and your body will thank you. Remember the golden rule. Your body is made of what you put into it. You either feed it life, or slowly destroy it with every bite. But even if you eat well, there's still one deadly mistake, and it can kill you even faster. Do you think old age is just about getting older? That one day you turn 70, 80, 90, and that's it? Your time has come? No. Old age isn't about numbers in your passport. It's a state of mind. Have you noticed how some people at 80 live full lives, walking, socializing, laughing, while others at 65 are already like shadows, silent, forgotten, weighed down by loneliness? The difference isn't in health. The difference is whether they live or just exist. Do you know how a person dies when they lose their purpose? First, they stop leaving the house. Then they stop calling their friends. Then they sit in a chair and just wait. They wait for someone to remember them. They wait for someone to call, to ask how they're doing. But no one calls. And little by little, they fade away. Have you seen elderly people like this? The ones no one listens to, no one hugs, no one asks how they are? At first, they're just sad. Then, they become gloomy. And then, their faces become empty. They are like ghosts in this world. Do you want to become one of them? Do you want to reach a point where people simply stop noticing you? Where you're erased from life? If not, you need to stay connected with others. What should you do? Old age begins the moment you stop being part of the world. Talk to your friends. Make new connections. Even if you think there's no one, there are always people who also long for companionship. Use the internet. Call your children. Yes, they're busy. Yes, they have their own lives. But if you don't remind them you exist, they will forget. Pursue hobbies. Join clubs. Find those who share your interests. The more passions you have, the less power old age has over you. The less you interact with the world, the faster it forgets you. But what if you have no one left? What if you've lost loved ones? If your friends are gone? If you feel like the world no longer sees you? Then you just need to find new people. It might feel scary. It might feel unfamiliar. But age is not an excuse for loneliness. As long as you're alive, you have a chance to live. But beyond loneliness, there is another enemy. An enemy no one notices. And it destroys not just the body, but the soul. After 70, many people look in the mirror and tell themselves, "I've lived my life. There's nothing left for me to do." And that's the very moment life begins to slip away. Not because the body suddenly decides to age, not because some magic old age has arrived, but because the person themselves has given the command, "Stop." You wake up and think, "Why should I get up?" Day after day, it's the same walls, the same routines, the same emptiness. You tell yourself, "I've seen everything. There's nothing interesting left." And the body starts adjusting. Your muscles weaken because they are no longer needed. Your memory fades because your brain is no longer challenged. Life becomes monotonous, and the body slowly shuts down. This is how not the body dies, but the will to live. But have you noticed some elderly people look younger than their age? They move faster, smile more often, rarely complain about fatigue or pain. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It comes down to one difference. They have something to wake up for. The body follows the mind. If your brain believes there's no purpose left, it sends a signal. We are no longer living. We no longer need to preserve energy. We no longer need muscles, memory, health. And everything starts falling apart. So here's the real question. Do you want to end up like this? Or do you want to stay active, energetic, and full of life until the very end? There is a way out. Life doesn't end when you turn 70, 80, or 90. It ends when you decide you no longer want to live. Do what brings you joy. Think about what you always wanted to do but never had time for. Painting, music, writing. Now is your time. Help others. It extends life. You think no one needs you anymore? That's a lie. People always need wisdom, experience, and kind words. travel, learn, try new things. If you don't have the energy for long trips, go to the nearest park. Pick up a book on a new subject. Meet new people. The meaning of life isn't in the years you've lived. The meaning of life is in continuing to live. So decide now. Do you want to be a helpless, lonely, forgotten old person? Or someone who stays truly alive until the very end? The choice is yours.